So, principle number 5, do not hold the customer accountable for our error. Um, this is obvious in situations like we went over in the last point where um, it makes sense the customer says, well, the technician did something obviously wrong. That's a situation where we would hope every customer service representative would recognize, no, we never blame the customer for stuff like that. That's definitely our fault, something where we dropped the ball. What I'm talking about here is holding the customer accountable for something that they believe we have done wrong, but in fact, we haven't necessarily done anything wrong. They were just not well educated on how, or they have possibly forgotten what our policies are or what our procedures are. But we do not ever want to hold them accountable for things like that. So here's a great tip for these situations: the customer's perception is your reality. So even if we didn't do anything wrong, whatever the customer believes we did wrong is what we need to address, and in a very polite, helpful, empathetic way. So always just use the resolution cycle, just like I said: concern, listen, repeat, empathize, address the concern, and provide a solution. It's always going to help you every single time. So just like I said, even when all the evidence and the documentation shows that we have done absolutely nothing wrong, we still need to be empathetic and understanding and accommodating before we explain our policies. And because what it does, if we just throw documentation and policies at their face and say, well, listen, you should have read this and you should know this by now, they're going to get defensive and frustrated, which is exactly the opposite of what our purpose is as a CSR. So I'm going to give you a little scenario here. And this is kind of depicted in an interesting way. You are going to be the customer. So picture yourself as the customer. My rendition of this story includes lots of pictures and, excuse me, I burped, I'm really sorry. And the customer, quote unquote, is kind of depicted in different forms. Sometimes they're old, sometimes young, sometimes man, sometimes woman. Because I don't know what you look like. You could be anything. So anyway, this is a really abstract version of what the customer is doing. But anyway, just go with me. Roll with the story, all right? So I'm going to give you this scenario real quick. Here you are. You're the customer. It's the middle of July. You're out watering your lawn, minding your own business. And then this kind of college-age kid comes up and starts talking to you about the ants that are on your porch. And 20 minutes later, you're kind of thinking, well, this insight thing sounds like a pretty good deal. Like, I have ants. I'd like for them to be taken care of. So maybe I'll go ahead and do it. But what's more at the front of your mind is the fact that you are just starving. So you're kind of ready for this conversation to be done. So you're like, okay, chop, chop, little college kid. I really need to go inside and make myself a sandwich. So can you just finish up? So he's like, yeah, cool. Let me just explain a couple of things really quickly to you. Here's how we do callbacks. Here's how we do scheduling. You're like, yeah, okay, where do I sign so I can go in and eat my dang sandwich? So you sign, you go in, you eat your delicious sandwich, and you are really enjoying it, as this person seems to be. And then later that week, you have your initial service. It goes awesome. And the technician did a great job, and within a week, you don't even see any more ants. So then you kind of move on with your busy life. You've got work, you got family. You're doing your thing, and you kind of almost even forget that you had a pest control company or that you signed up for one. Until it's like mid-October, you walk up to your house and you see a door hanger from Insight, and you're like, wait, what? I don't remember scheduling an appointment with Insight. Why did they come? Weren't they supposed to do the inside? I've seen a couple of ants the last couple of weeks. Like, I would have really liked it if the technician could have come back inside to treat in the kitchen. But wasn't I supposed to schedule this? Like, I'm so confused. I'm pretty sure that sales rep told me I was supposed to call in and schedule. Like, what the heck are they doing coming and treating my house when I didn't even schedule this? They were not authorized to do this. So at this point, you as the customer are like, I think I need to give Inside a call and resolve this real quick. All right, so you as the customer, let's think about your perspective here. How do you feel? You're frustrated and you're angry. You're feeling kind of scammed. So why do you feel that way? Because to your knowledge, what you remember, you were told you're supposed to do the scheduling, and Insight just performed a service without your permission. What the heck? Here's a reality check. Did Insight perform a service without your permission? No. You, the customer, signed an agreement acknowledging how Insight schedules and authorizing Insight to come out quarterly. Do you, the customer, remember all the details of the agreement? No. It was 3 months ago when you had a 20-minute conversation about it, and most of the time you were really focused on your lunch. So obviously you don't remember all the details. Does this mean that Insight should just call you out about it? Does it mean that we should blame the customer for not reading the agreement? Never. You, as the customer, your perception is our reality, which means, like, even if we know that we have done everything right on our side, if you feel like you were wronged, that's something we've got to deal with. So what does this mean? Does it mean we should just kind of neglect to inform the customer about the truth about our policies? Definitely not. But Insight needs to go about doing that in a really tactful, empathetic way. So we don't want to just be like, listen, you should have read your agreement. What were you thinking? We want to make sure that we're explaining our policies in a way that's after we've empathized, after the customer knows we're on their side, so that we can inform rather than telling the customer, well, listen, I'm about to educate you on what our policies are, because that's just not what we're here to do. All right, I'm going to give you two different possible responses from customer service reps to this situation. So you're going to continue picturing yourself as the customer in this situation where you feel like you've been wronged. And we're going to start out the conversation from the point of you, as the customer, have just explained to the customer service rep that what just happened, and you're like, hey, well, I don't feel like, or I'm sorry, I should have been the one to schedule this. And here's the response. Ma'am, sir, no, I'm sorry, that is not our policy. I see here we did send you a voicemail reminder and an email about your upcoming service. Do you remember getting those? You, no, I don't check my email very often, and I don't remember hearing any voicemail. Well, we have record that both of them sent successfully, and that's how we schedule it Insight. Your appointment automatically generates, and then we notify you by phone and email. Okay, well, I was told I'm the one who schedules the appointments, and you all were not authorized to come treat my house. Well, I see here you signed an agreement authorizing quarterly treatments. I can send it to you so you can review it if you like. Listen, I don't care what your agreement says. I was going by the representative of your company, by what he told me. I'm feeling right now like I was lied to, and I do not want to pay for this service. Can I just go ahead and cancel? Alrighty, so that was response A. How about response B? Starting at the same spot. Okay, so it sounds like it was told to you that appointments should be made when you call in. Now you just had a service performed, but you didn't make the appointment. Is that right? Yes, that's right. I'm not going to be paying for this. I am so sorry for the frustration, Mrs. Person. I would be just as upset if I had been told the appointments were scheduled personally and then I got a bill and an invoice for a service without even any knowledge of the appointment. That's completely unfair for you, and I truly apologize. It sounds like our sales representative didn't explain our scheduling procedure correctly. I thank you so much for calling in and letting us know about this. I will make sure I notify his manager so that this training issue gets addressed and doesn't happen in the future, okay? So, are you still seeing any pests around the home right now? Yes, actually, the ants have come back to my kitchen, and you guys got rid of them for like the whole summer, but just in the last 2 weeks, I've seen a few around my sink. Okay, well, we're definitely glad to hear we got rid of those for the summer. Looks like you were definitely due for your next service, so that product may have been wearing off inside your home, which is why you were seeing more activity. I know I hate ants in my kitchen. I would totally want those treated as well. So, what we'd love to do for you is go ahead and schedule an appointment with you now to get the interior treated because it sounds like you need it. And then that balance that's on your account right now will not be due until after you receive this interior treatment that we're going to schedule today, okay? All right, that sounds okay. But I'm still curious, why did you guys come out without me knowing about it? I don't want this to keep happening in the future. That is a great question. I'm real glad you brought it up. Um, we certainly don't want this happening every quarter either. Just like I mentioned, it sounds like the rep who got you set up with the service didn't properly explain how our scheduling works. And again, I truly apologize for that. I know that's frustrating. I'd love to give you a heads up on how our scheduling does work though. So we try our best to make scheduling super convenient for all of our customers so that they don't even have to remember to call us every quarter when the product starts wearing off. We'll schedule your appointments automatically each quarter for a tentative date and time, and then we'll give you a call with an automated reminder to let you know we're planning to come out. And the call will include the tentative date and time, which should be within like the next week. And then we also send out an email with the same information. And if you need an interior treatment at any time, like for this example where you got ants in your kitchen, definitely feel free to give us a call and let us know what you're seeing inside so we can confirm that day and time and make sure it works for you to have us come inside. Okay, so if you're not seeing any issues inside, there's no real need for us to treat the interior. So if we don't hear anything from you, then we'll know just to treat the outside on that visit. Okay, I guess that makes a little more sense. I thought I was the one who had to make the appointment. So, did you guys send me an email this quarter? It looks like we tried leaving a message and sending an email. Oh, I just didn't even realize I was supposed to be looking for those, but I'll definitely pay more attention from now on. It's all good. We're happy to help you out, especially considering our rep certainly dropped the ball here. Let's go ahead and get this appointment scheduled for you, okay? Let me just pull up the schedule. Okay, so let's compare those two responses. Response A, break it down. They jumped straight to correcting the customer. They showed no compassion or empathy whatsoever. Focused on Insight's policies, which is no. Held agreement over the customer's head. And the conversation lasted less than 2 minutes. Pretty terrible. So, did this follow the resolution cycle? In no way did it follow the resolution cycle. And Kevin gives it a big thumbs down. So, if any of you watch The Office, you know who Kevin is. He's the bomb. So yeah, don't ever emulate what response A did. It was the worst. Okay? Response B, let's talk about that. They used the resolution cycle, they listened, repeated, empathized, addressed the issue, and provided a solution. They explained the correct policies after empathizing. So they didn't leave out what we're supposed to tell the customer, but they waited until a very ideal time to tell them, and they told them in a polite way that made the customer feel like, hey, this person cares about me and they're just trying to let me know so that I can understand in the future. They're not trying to shove it down my throat and make me feel stupid for not knowing about it. Okay, so they focused on the customer's needs as well, and they never at any point mentioned the agreement. It wasn't necessary, didn't mention it. And they also took the necessary time to address the issues with tact. So, like I said, the last conversation took less than 2 minutes, or I mean, response A took less than 2 minutes. Sometimes you won't need a lot of time with a customer. With a concern like this, where the customer truly feels wronged, you may need to take a little bit of time with them, and that is okay. That is recommended because we want to take as much time as we need to properly address the customer's concerns and to make sure that they feel validated and helped and yeah, all of that good stuff. So great job, response B. The Fonz gives you a thumbs up. So always remember the customer's perception is completely your reality. And if they feel that we really did something wrong, but the account shows that we did everything right, it is not our job to hold the customers accountable. We address the issue with empathy and provide solutions. Honestly, sometimes we take the blame for things that maybe aren't necessarily our fault, but if that allows the customer to feel happy at the end and to feel like we care about them, then it is worth it to take the blame for something like that. Did the sales rep actually forget to talk about scheduling? No, he talked about it. Was the customer listening? Maybe not. Do we call the customer out for that? No. We address it and we blame ourselves so that the customer can be happy and know that it's not going to happen in the future and that their business is well placed at Insight. Okay?